It has been a while that we have made a video. We thought it's about time. We've just been on a long walk with our dog 100 Cavalli. We're in at the end of a valley towards the Monte Rosa mountain in Aosta Valley in Italy. And I thought it's time to make a bit of a fasting broth with wild herbs. So just along where we were walking, I found lots of nettles, thistles, dandelion, clover flowers, borage flowers, raspberry leaves, yarrow, and yeah, thistles, which are of course very good for us. So I'm just gonna wash all of it, make sure everything is okay, cut them up a bit, and then add some onion, some garlic, some turmeric and some ginger, and then just steep it for I don't know, maybe an hour, and then take everything out and just keep the liquid. And it's very cleansing for our blood, for our whole body. It's now July here, the main tourist season, and I'm always a little bit sad that we seem to be very impressed by buildings and bridges, like Roman bridges, or churches and castles, and without really looking at what it has taken to build some of those buildings and bridges, largely with slaves, largely by civilizations, cultures which were destructive towards indigenous people, and where there was a vast gap between the very wealthy and a lot of very poor people. And to me, to go and look for some, and also for Jamie, to look for some wild herbs, very humble herbs. They grow often in not the best areas. They grow literally everywhere. There's about 800 varieties of dandelion growing in the world, and they've been growing for many millions of years. And I read a good book called Ishmael, maybe 35 years ago, and the author was talking about the mother lie. And one of the mother lies is that we are just, our background is being so-called civilized. But that is of course only for maybe 6,000 years, 8,000 years, or even less. You take the Roman Empire, you take the Egyptian Empire, you take some other empires, and we're not really being told that for about over 2.7 million years we've been hunter-gatherers, and we've been gathering those kind of same herbs. They're very good for us. They're very good medicine. They're very good nutrition, more nutritional than even bio food, even permaculture food. This just grows, and as we reconnect with this and our own history, we start to value nature in a different way. We don't just go out there and kind of take, racing down with our mountain bike or whatever. We slow down and we actually connect with what Mother Earth offers us in such a generous way. Of course, there has been great efforts, especially also in Africa, to get people to change from being hunter-gatherers, from being indigenous people to becoming farmers. And then all of a sudden there's big droughts and millions of people are starving. Whereas the natural indigenous plants growing everywhere on the planet are much more hardiest. They are much, you know, they work in with the seasons. It's a natural part of Mother Earth, of thousands and thousands of species of those edible medicinal plants. And for me this is a very grounding thing to do. Maybe sometimes it's a bit overbearing what's happening in the world, and you think that progress is made only very, very slowly. And then to reconnect with this ancient way of appreciating Mother Earth and connecting with Mother Earth and savoring this immense healing power, if you like, of just a simple broth. It gives me a lot of strength, and yeah, it kind of gives me courage too to keep going. So I'm very grateful for those herbs. I'm grateful for Mother Earth, and I encourage everybody to go out there wherever you are and just look what's growing right where you are. You know, medicine people have always said whatever we need for our health is growing right in front of our doorstep. And if we're in a big city, maybe we have to go a little bit further than that. But yeah, so lots of love, and these are not easy times. These are times where a lot of the stuff we haven't been looking at in ourselves, in our own heart and life, is getting triggered. It's an opportunity to do more of our own healing and growing. And if you like, please, you know, visit our websites, www.dreamturtle.com, and Jamie's website, www.rainbowtreewoman.com. We have lots of other videos on YouTube. They're free, and yeah, and if you'd like to contact us, we also offer personal sessions for couples and for individual people and families to look at transforming some of the old wounds which often get passed down from past generations, and if we're not conscious, we will end up passing them on to our own children and grandchildren as well. So it's important we take a lot of time to feel the truth in ourselves, and, you know, to be honest, not to fake it, not to put on a brave mask and just distract ourselves from how we're truly feeling. And maybe we need to change. Maybe we need to change what we're doing, how we're living, where we're living. We need to look at our relationships. And so we can help in those personal sessions to become more clear. Often we have one core pattern which repeats itself, like, for example, betrayal. And so it will continue until we truly come to a deep level of how we're feeling, how it started in this life, how we can then transform it through understanding, soul understanding and soul wisdom, and through coming to a place of compassion for other people, because they're also wounded, and they're also wounded because of the wounds of their elders and parents and so forth. So this is a time when it's really important we do this personal healing and growing in ourselves, that we take time to slow down. Gathering some wild herbs is a beautiful way of slowing down and reconnecting with actually who we have been for a very long time. So this is how it looks all cut up. I'll be adding a bit of organic vegetable stock, and the only other thing I'll be adding is cabbage leaves, because cabbage is extremely alkaline, as are onions, and so this is going to be an amazing alkaline potassium broth. Also be adding some extra spices, like bay leaves, cloves, star,
aniseed,
some Himalayan salt, and fennel seeds, and that's our dog Cento Cavalli, and some other herbs, and yeah, maybe about 4 or 5 cubes of organic vegetable stock. There's a broth with some nettle seeds and a bit of savory yeast and some rice, spelt and oats. Barley, sorry. And yeah, it's probably been simmering for about 3 hours. We used to put it on, now we live in a camper van, yeah, so we don't have much space and we don't have an oven or a stove. But we used to, in New Zealand, when we had wood stoves, we would just let it simmer for hours on a bit of heat. So yeah, and the temperature has dropped, even though it's July. All of a sudden it dropped, was over in the 30s, lower here in Italy, and today it was said to be just like 9 degrees up in the mountains, and so to have a beautiful healing broth is just what we need and love. So there we go.